Okay, so I'll just take you through it tonight, and then I'll record this, and I will um, leave this where everybody can find it. And then you can get out of here and get going on working on it.
Right,
Uh,
sounds good.
all right. So the first thing I do is I have a blank here, and you can see the blank is just a white background PNG, and it's got these black bits on it. It's just measured out. I created it using a grid and very simple thing. And I've used this for like years and years and years to make my cartoons. So the next thing I do, I usually draw all my cartoons um, in in pencil, and I draw them, and then I say scan them. I actually just take photographs of them, and I post them on the. I'll open up this one, and I'll scan them and then post them into a drive. Let's rotate this 180 degrees. So here's a pretty average cartoon thing that I'm working on. You can see it's like I took a picture, it's sitting on a chair or something. Um, so then what I do is select it like this, uh, just the area I want to work in. And then I stretch, I hold down the control key and I can stretch the corners to the edge of this thing here, right? So I'm see the corners of in my hand-drawn frame. I'm stretching those because it's very hard without putting it on a scanner to get it perfect. But if you do this, then it tends to align pretty well. And then I just want to make sure that all the black lines are mostly off to the side. Great. Now with that done, I need to get rid of all the color because I need it to be white. So I'm going to go in here and go desaturate, go image, adjust, desaturate, and that gets rid of any color. See, there used to be a lot of blue in it. And then I want to make sure that I can get rid of all the dust and scratches and stuff. So I'm going to do an image, adjust brightness and contrast, and I'm going to use the legacy one because the new one sucks, and I'm going to make it brighter so that it's more in line with the other thing. And then I'm going to
Uh,
hit hello there, and welcome back to the class. Okay, you go away. All right, image, adjust, brightness and contrast, legacy, brightness. We want to make it as white as the other square thing. And you can see if I make it too bright, the blacks start disappearing. Uh, so you have to kind of up the blacks to match the thing. And we're just trying to get a high contrast on this. I'm trying to get some of this dust specks and stuff to fall out so I don't have to clean that up. All right, so I have this all dialed in, and I'm going to make it small. Usually I just put this on a different frame and bring it in, but we'll do it this way. So I'm going to dock that up here so you can see. I can go back and forth. I'm going to, on this one, select the frame, and then I'm going to, by hitting marquee, doing it, then go hitting Control C, and then I'm going to come back here, and then in this panel, I'm going to go Shift Control Alt V, which pastes into. You can see it's masked out the rest of them. And this allows me to rescale the cartoon to any size. So if I needed like, oh, you know, I wrote a lot of text there after the fact, so I need this to be a little smaller in frame, I can, you know, reduce the size and bring it down and readjust it so it's in the middle or something like that. But then I need to select the bottom again and select the next frame, come back here, and then I can move this over. I have this selected, so it's allowing me to move selection over. So this and this and this, they're all part of the same family. So if you have one selected, if you just hit the left mouse button, it allows you to drag the selection window around. And since it's already this size, it's very easy to just move it over. I want to make sure that I get that part because that's the most important part down at the bottom. Come back here. This is already selected. Control Alt, Shift Control Alt V to paste into, and then I hit Control T to scale it back to a usable size. That's pretty good. Come back to here, select this window. Because these black lines are here, it's allowing me to select in between these things. Come back over here, move this to our third frame, Control C, and here Shift Control Alt V, and then reduce it, and then the last one, same thing. Oops, accidentally clicked instead of moved. So I need to select this, Control C, come back over here, Shift Control Alt V to paste it in, Control T to scale it. I want to scale it down. I need more room for words up there, so I'm going to bring him down a little bit in the frame. And I might readjust this a little bit so his arm is out further. I just want to make sure that there's enough room over here for the frame. So each time I put these in the frame, I'm looking at what the composition is as compared to how many words I need to put in. And you don't have to put any words in your thing, but I have them in mind. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take these layers, all these layers I just imported, and I'm going to merge them into one. So now they're all one big layer again. And I can come in here now and just clean up all this stuff that was like, I need to delete out all the words because I'm going to replace those with text from the software. I'm going to type them in the software. And I need to get rid of all these edge lines because they don't belong. Get rid of all this slop at the bottom of the page, where it's kind of over a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I've got a black and white plate. I have a bottom plate, which I'm going to call the base layer. I've got this layer, which I'm going to call the black and white layer. And then I'm going to sit in the black and white layer for a bit. I need to make sure my pen is black. I need to go in and fix some of this stuff. I know from you doing this that my pressure point is about, or my size is about 7, matches this thing here. And I want to make sure that pressure sensitivity and pressure flow sensitivity are both ticked, because those give me, I can get a variable width line with that. So now I just want to go in there and kind of spot clean things up. I'm going to put a background in the color phase, but I want this foreground leaves to be in there. And so I just go through, and anything where there was a mistake in the pencil drawing or the pen drawing, I can go in and kind of clean up a little bit. I usually go in and make the mouths solid black, fix the eyes if they're not working, like anything that's an actual black. Decisions I made while drawing it in pen and stuff, I can kind of erase because I know that I'll go back and hit this with color and stuff later on, so I don't need the shading that I was using. Or I can add some more. Wow. I also want to make sure that I have a hard brush, not a soft brush. Okay. I'm going to put this tiki back um, in the color stage, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Sometimes I'll draw things in pen, knowing that I'm going to take them out later on as a reminder of what I need to do. Like, oh yeah, okay, I wanted to have that be in there, but I don't really need. If when I can do it in color, I don't really need black line drawings for it. Although whatever your system is, like whatever the look you want to have for your cartoon thing may be different. Your look may vary. Take that out. Actually, I'm going to take this out too. I want him to look like he's in the jungle, but I can do that. Look at this one. It doesn't look like I had a pencil this day. It looks like this is pretty much all pen. Usually I draw this in pencil and then I take a pen and go over it again. Make sure you pick the right thing. I'll also go in and adjust line weight, things like that. Okay, so now we have our, this is what I call the black and white layer down. We're going to create another layer on top of that one, and this one's going to be the color layer. And I've been working with these characters for so long, I have made my own color wheel for them. So I'll just go through real quick and start coloring in over the top of them. Usually when I do this, I take off pressure sensitivity, although you can leave it on. And I turn this layer, or it's the color layer, um, into a multiply layer. So I can multiply means that you can see through this. So I'm seeing through to the black and white layer. I'm drawing on the color layer, but I can see through to the black and white layer. And then this allows me to just quickly color the guys in. And while I have this red up, I can just really quickly, I don't have to be clean. I don't have to stay within the lines because I have to go back anyways with other colors. So I can get really sloppy, but kind of go fast. Okay, so now I want to do the top of his head, which is a little more, like I can't be as messy. Otherwise I'll get stuff like that, and then I'll have to go back with the red and clean that up. Honestly, this is a bit of a big brush. And then I can go in and do the eyes. And you can see I'll put white in here later on, so I don't have to be careful inside. I'm just kind of getting the green area in. And maybe it's nose color. I'll try and do this as quick as possible. I know what you want to do is watch me color in stuff. Sorry, I recorded that. I'm sorry tonight. Just did that. I'll hit that in a little bit. Let me just get this done. And depending on the order that that you'll get a sense of what to color in after a while first, and then what you can color in second. I mean, when you first start off, it doesn't need to be as assembly line as this is. But I always finish with the whites of the eyes and the white in the teeth. And I don't use a regular white. This is a slightly off white, so that it doesn't, you can see it's slightly different than the background white. So when you're drawing comic strips, you oftentimes need to come up with rules for how things are going to be colored and stuff. I kind of have a rule that if somebody's holding something or somebody's wearing something, unless it's a very specific color for whatever reason, um, it's one of these two purples. Like these are my prop colors because I have a very limited palette in my comic strip. If you have a lot of area that needs to be filled in and you don't want to go like that, go like this the whole time, you can just go get a paint bucket and fill it in. Oops, I forgot to do his eyebrows. His eyebrows actually are pressure sensitive. I like doing it so it hits bright right here in the middle, so it kind of highlights it like it's shiny there or something. So I'll do one pass through with kind of a medium weight on my hand and then go through and kind of hit some of the glossy bits. Almost there. I should have just pulled one out, but I figured there's only like a few characters to color in on this, so it would have gone fast, but not quite as fast as I had hoped. I'm still slow. This is what happens when you don't have full pressure on. You have to press a lot harder to get things to go. All right, is that everybody? Yeah. Okay. So now we got our color layer down. And so with the color, why you do it like this? Why don't you paint the whole background and stuff first and then the color? So because you can, with the color layer down, you can now lay down a thing for the background. And if I turn off the black, you can kind of see what's going on. the black layer is coming through and the color's all behind it. So I can go in here and change the colors if I want or do whatever I want. But what's really important is that I can use the select tool. And it selects all the area I haven't drawn in yet, right? And then I can go select inverse and select the other area, and I'm going to create another file and call this one BG for background. I'm going to go in the here, and I'm going to, I guess, make my background orange and red. So I'm going to pick two colors here to come over here and do a gradient in the background. Oops, sorry, I did it backwards. I need to select inverse. And then I can see I missed some spots, but that's okay. So now if I turn on my black again, and I go up to my background layer and make it multiply. I can then lower the opacity of my background so it's not so harsh up against this character. I want it to kind of fall away. So I want the gradient, but I don't want those colors. Oops, so 54, remember that. I still have to select, deselect, make sure I'm on the background layer, and then I gotta go in with that. I gotta go in and anywhere where the background didn't really cover, I think that's the only spot. I have to fill that in. Okay, back here. Make this 53 or 61. I'm gonna go here because, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay, so oops, and you can see that I forgot to color in his teeth here because his teeth are background color. So I need to go erase the background color from where his teeth are, go into the color thing, select the white and add that back in. Okay, great. So now that we have the color bit, right? So there's what it looks like in black and white. I'm going to add shadow to the characters. So I'm going to go into the background color and select the white bits of these characters here. I'm going to turn on color and background again. I'm going to go to color, select another layer above the color, or create another layer above the color and call that one shadow. And then I'm going to come up here to my color thing and pick a shadowy color like this teal blue or something. And I'm going to just make my pen big. I draw right over the top of everything. Like anywhere that I'd want a shadow. And keep in mind, I'm just doing this really fast for you guys because it's a really long video already. So I'm getting really sloppily, just put in shadows. You want to make this a multiply layer, and you can see it gets dark already. And then all I have to do is kick back the opacity, and I have pretty good shadows. I can go in here and places where they're too strong or they're in the wrong spot, I can kind of erase them. And go in and put in some detailed stuff if I need to. If the shadows are not strong enough, we can kick them up a little bit. Just somewhere where you feel that they're okay. A shadow, in my opinion, a shadow should be something you notice but isn't distracting. All right, so I got all that in. I go select, deselect. Great. So now let's go back in and put in our jungle. I'm going to select the background again. And so you can see here I have this giant tiki. is what he's leaning to. So I need the jungle in this section here, in this section here, and in this section here. So I'm going to grab my lasso tool here. And I'm just going to like draw a silhouette of a jungle in here, very much like my black lines were. But I don't want it to go where the tiki is, so I'm going to go try and draw around the tiki. And then I drop back and make it a thing, and then now I can go here with the background selected. I can now adjust the hue and saturation of this, so I could change the color if I wanted to something else, or darken it, or lighten it, or increase the saturation. So the whole reason we do the background first, though, cancel that, is so that we can get kind of a monochromatic background, which is sort of a style of mine. So I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change the color. I am going to make it darker and then kick up the saturation. And now if I deselect that, you can see that he's now, all that black stuff now comes through in kind of silhouette of the jungle. All right. Now all I need to do is go in and make the tiki darker, and I can do this in two ways. I can just paint over the top of it with another layer if I'm not really sure what I want to do. I can just come in and then with like a purple or something, so it's sort of within the realm. And I don't have to worry. Oh, I don't have it selected, huh? I do have to worry about that. Yeah, sorry. I come in here, sorry. I should have selected all these so that I didn't draw over them with this color. I don't want to select that. Now I want to select inverse. Come back up here. Go like that. And now I can do whatever I want. Like I can turn the opacity down, or I could change the color. I kind of like what's going on there, though. It kind of feels like rock to me. And jungle. And I might want to take the background and brighten it up a little bit, and you can see it kind of brightens everything. Actually, I kind of like the readiness of this. Okay, so now if we're happy with our shadows and we're happy with our background area, select, deselect. I can save this one, and for me this would be cartoon 629. And now all I need to do is put in the text. And the text is really easy. I just hit the text tool and then type in whatever the text was. Make sure you spell everything correctly. Big problem for me. I usually try, it's different. You can use word clouds or something. I usually try and keep my text like up near the top somewhere and about that big in frame. Although if I need to like bring it because this guy's in the way, I don't ever put text like that across a foreground object, which that tiki kind of is there. I will put it here in the background. I'll put it here. I'll put it. I might put it here or here, but I will not put it across the two. And when you're all done, that's it. That's how I make cartoons. All right, I'm going to stop the video.